Hey, what's up, guys? I just wanted to touch base with you about a variety of topics. I'm going to title this video The End of Pandora's Box, and let's get right into it. So, I wanted to pretty much get in contact with you guys and just reach out to give you more of a rundown on my spiritual gifts and like what I've sensed that's coming up in the future, because this is mainly current event based. So when it comes to economy, I notice people are using AI in the job market or in any other professional setting. And I've noticed that AI could be useful to some degree, but at the same time, I've noticed some people have relied on AI to an extent where it's like, advertised to a point where it's saturated, oversaturated at that. It's just advertising it is really oversaturated, and people try to make this doom gloom speech about it, like in the next couple of years 40% of the jobs will not exist anymore. I'm going to be really neutral on that. I don't really agree with that. However, I would say this. I see AI being used, but I don't see it having a full-blown impact on America as far as the economy goes, as far as like fully being the main proponent, the main component of what's going to destroy the American dollar, because the American dollar is just linen on paper, and pretty much that's printed out through tax machines. So I don't really see that as being a downfall. However, I would say this. Although, this economy is in a derelict, like I've said in previous videos, I could honestly say that the calibration of this planet is at a really high vibration. Although everything is chaotic, it's just that there's certain timeline manipulations. But yeah, AI cannot really override the systematics of the divine mother in a quantum sense. It can never do that. So the whole AI doomsday, rhetoric that the mainstream media has made, it's just pretty much some type of propaganda to make people fear for their life, because this system is being renovated. I heard people talking about BRICS, like some foreign exchange currency that's going to be involved, but I don't think it's going to be in the way that people described it. Like, oh, the world is going to go cashless. I don't think it's going to be completely a cashless society. I just think it's going to be ran in a way where you have different forms of currency, which BRIC is, but at the same time, it's just like the stuff that has no value. And what's funny is my username has to deal with the value of the soul. So I'm gonna get into that with you guys. But yeah, I don't see anything happening with AI, completely taking over everything. I understand that robots are coming in, but it's not going to be complete. I also wanted to add on, like a reading I got like months ago about hybrid animals. Now, I noticed when it comes to the news, they'll try to make up these narratives that, certain things are more exaggerated than what they are. One thing I picked up though is that maybe not now, but in the near future, there's gonna be like this way of the media disclosing information about, ancient hybrid animals and trying to make it seem like they were just discovered within the next decade or so. I don't really have a specific designated timeline because timelines are manipulated at the moment. So I'm just going to say this. I picked up that, for example, hybrids like, let's say, a sea lion or swamp-based swamp people were being discovered. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Some people are going to flip out. And it's not to scare anybody, but some people are going to be so, not really perturbed, but captivated by it. But really apprehensive because some people have never witnessed something like this before, because all the stuff in the world has been concealed to a point where certain things that are beauty is naturally scary to the mainstream, or the plain Johns or plain Janes in the world. I'll just put it like that. And I don't really give you guys really a rundown on my gifts because I don't really like to gloat about it, but it's just something I naturally have that I'm still working on. Like, one of the things I notice about me is I have clear sentience about certain things, but I don't know how I pick up on stuff, and then I forget and I realize, I just read about this, and I may have to do some type of self-discipline in certain areas with like my routine, because it happens to a point where I'll be relaxing, and then when I hear something on the news, I'll be like, oh, I heard about this. I actually thought about this, but I was not really tapping into that. So it's something that's like firewalled, but it's really not. You just have to tap into it. Just wanted to share that with you guys. But yeah, like hybrid animals, they're another subject matter that is going to play a huge role into the ascension of this planet, because a lot of times the media will make up these stories and they'll make hyperboles and say, oh, this doesn't exist, but everything has been really proven by mankind itself, the divine mother. So that's one thing I've noticed. It's just that there's going to be propaganda on ancient animals that exist. But there's one thing I wanted to mention with you guys. It actually ties into the climax of this video. And it has to do with just how any minority lives. I always had a distaste for the structure of the melanated community, and this is going to really play hand into what I'm about to bring up next. And I never understood the dysfunction that runs in a so-called black household. I don't like saying that because it's like an enslaving term. It's like, one thing I don't understand is even if you have things going right in your life, or you're trying to make a way to break a cycle, you have people that try to tell you what to do because they have this Jim Crow mindset. And then on top of that, there's a lot of tomfoolery. And it's annoying for me because I'm in an environment that doesn't make me feel like me. So it's a double-edged sword, because I'm in a situation where I could invest in myself and build up on my character because I'm not really focused on status in the first place. I could build up on my character instead of focusing on my status as a person, because you know how materialistic melanated people are. I don't say black. I could do that and I could still feel stuck, and I'm suppressed in a ways that's unimaginable. But yeah, man, it's really disgusting to me. Especially since, like, what I've realized is this is just a basic way of like how the households is. The effeminate household, you know, theme being that like certain matriarchs of the family will tell you what to do instead of looking into suggestion of father figure in the house. And even if you have someone that could be a father figure, they're not really reliable. So technically there's a lot of dissonance, and then also there's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? There's a lot of lies about how a certain person like myself would be. And so this actually goes hand into this video, because like I'm sending this out as a signal to anybody that really doesn't have a sense of family, and you have to move out or you have to save up. This is just a signal to anybody that's never reached my channel, because it's just honestly annoying, you know, because if you're chosen or you're indigo or you're a black sheep, whatever, this is something that you're going to deal with. You're going to deal with a lot of timeline manipulation. You're going to deal with a lot of social economic issues like what I'm talking about. And you won't really have much of support. And even when you ask for help, people try to make you seem like you're not communicating enough. Even if you do the bare minimum, but you still get stuff done. And there's no right or wrong in this. It's just something I wanted to mention. But yeah, it's really disgusting, man. Like, I never understood how there's family members that are matriarchs, and they'll try to tell you how to live your life, and they don't even have no father figure, and they know that you're a young guy trying to succeed. I never understood that. Then it also comes to a point where there's no father figure in the household, and pretty much you have to teach yourself how to be a man. And that's pretty much my position. And even if I do have a mentor or a father figure, most of the time it's outside of the house, because there's nobody to connect with you in the house. But these people complain that, oh, you're not communicating enough, which is bullshit. Give me 1 second. Always a distraction, as always in the city. But yeah, I wanted to bring up that whole complex of when it comes to living in a black household, in a black community. Although I don't like using that term, because it's just so dysfunctional, man. From the business aspect, from just the household structure, I don't understand. I don't get it, and I don't really care to understand, because that's not my work of life anyway. So I'm saying this to say this. This message that I'm making about the black community is a signal to anybody that doesn't really feel like they have a form of family, because doesn't mean you're brought into a certain environment. It doesn't make you feel you. and it doesn't make you in the first place. And that's why I brought up, I may have to move out in NYC and click with other chosen ones, or move outside of America as a whole, because I don't really feel appreciated for the stuff that I do, especially the content with all this suppression. But I just wanted to bring that up. Now, this is what's going to be really funny now. So, as you guys know, I've changed my name throughout the years on YouTube, and I've said a lot about different topics, but this is going to be really ironic. My name is Paradigm Collector. The way I got this name was through the matters of just, I don't know, like the guardian angels. So one day I was thinking about something and this name came up. Ironically enough, this has to do with everything I just mentioned before. This is gonna be like similar to what I said in the Holy Trinity video, but everything has a divine purpose, right? So my name is Paradigm Collector. A paradigm collector. That's pretty much me saying that I make an exchange on a soul based on giving value into my purpose of investing in others and investing in myself, but also that also plays into me being an entrepreneur. So when I say paradigm collector, it's not about just the metaphysical aspect of what you do as far as investing into the soul of others, but also how can you manage your well-being, your own resources and your own goods. That's about it though, man. And mind you, this ties into what I said about the black community. There's a lot of sun out here. But this also ties into the whole dysfunction of the black community when you deal with people having a roof over your head and they have this Jim Crow mindset, and they're pretty much going up to you and telling you to work, but they know you're never encouraged by anybody from whatever side of your family, whether it's paternal or maternal, to be an entrepreneur. Unfortunately and unfortunately for me, I knew I always had this gift. I was a creative. I was someone that rather be self-educated. And my problem is, every time I put love into everything, it feels like my world is falling apart, and that's just how everything has been for me throughout the last year. And so that's why I'm saying this to say this. I'm putting self-love into myself. Because at the end of the day, this system won't be no more. And the cookie's gonna crumble before you know it, guys. It may not be next year, but it will be soon. Especially a system revolving around, pretty much bias and prejudice. It's not gonna last that long. So that's all I wanted to say, man. But going into how to end things off, I wanted to talk about what evolve means. Anybody that pays attention to my videos knows I always say evolve at the end of my videos. And the acronym in those letters are actually eternal vital information, omnipresent intent, raising havoc through limbo, which means pretty much conquering over what obstacles you're facing in life, and not trying to identify the ego with what you truly are. Because although we're on this earthly plane, we're all living in one avatar. That's the whole point of my name. Well, my acronym. Sorry about that. But yeah, guys. I just wanted this to be more of a video that introduces different perspectives on my gifts, social economics, and a list of other things. But if you want, feel free to, send a donation, because I don't, content creators such as ourselves that do this type of work, we don't really get the support we needed. And it's best if anybody likes and shares and subscribe, because I don't really get as much support for doing all this work, so I'm going to leave my description below of any payments. It's not required, but it's really appreciated. But as always, evolve.